their postpartum depression or anxiety, their milk production. It does help facilitate bonding because of the oxytocin that's in the placenta. You'll also find that it helps with pain management afterwards. It helps with the uterus shrinking afterwards, and it can actually lessen your bleeding.
Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Entering Motherhood, a podcast dedicated specifically to new moms going through this amazing journey in life. I'm your host, Sarah Bilger, a postpartum nutritional coach / mechanical engineer. And as always, I'm so excited to be here with you and share all of the information I've been lucky enough to obtain since becoming a mom. In this episode, we talk with April Hall Gill, the owner of Carolina Placenta Remedies, about placenta encapsulation, tinctures, and even smoothies. Hello, and welcome to Entering Motherhood. And I am so excited to have you here and get started on this conversation because, like I was just saying, I think a lot of people, at least for me, I didn't even know what a placenta was until I was pregnant. And then not even knowing what it looked like or anything like that, and knowing all the benefits and what it does. So, I'm super excited to get this conversation started and really just dive into, like what you do and how you got started. So, if you would like to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you and what kind of led you down this path.
I am April Hall Gill. I am the owner of Carolina Placenta Remedies. This is our 5th year here in business in the upstate. Um, I am the mother of 5 amazing girls myself. I've managed to get 3 of them to adulthood. And I guess, my own journey started with postpartum depression after my children. I suffered postpartum depression and anxiety after the birth of all 5 of my girls. And of course, my oldest being 23, almost 24, it definitely was something that wasn't talked about then. So it was kind of just brushed off. Oh, you'll be fine. After my 4th daughter was born, I was, of course, then told with my postpartum depression, oh, you need medication. And I found, my background personally is in pharmacy. So I've worked in the hospitals, I've worked in pharmaceuticals for about 12 years. It's just, I didn't want to be on that constant need for the medication to get over my postpartum depression. So when I got pregnant with my 5th, I started researching like crazy. I just knew there had to be some alternative, something else I could do rather than start taking medication right after giving birth. And I actually came across placenta encapsulation. Unfortunately, at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of people out there offering services. And it was very difficult to find anybody to even do it for you. And so after I had my 5th daughter, it's when I started entering into the studies of it in 2015. And I went with IPPA and did a live training with them in North Carolina. And then I actually went on to train with Brilliant Birth Academy in 2017 and did their placenta certification program along with their stem cell program. And I have just been amazed in the 5 years how much it has grown, and how much we've been able to get out and get information out to families and educate them on placenta encapsulation, on the benefits. We have been honored to, gosh, serve so many families in the past 5 years. And every year it's more and more.
So, how about you kind of tell us, what is the placenta and what's going on there and why are we even encapsulating it and what is that doing to it?
Well, the placenta itself is what I think is one of the most amazing organs. It's the only disposable organ that we can make for one use, and then your body just rids itself of it because it's done. It's the baby's lungs, it's the baby's nutrition, and all this, it keeps and filters all the toxins from the baby. However, it doesn't hold those toxins. It filters it back to the mom. It has stem cells. So if mom has damage, as far as her cells and things that are going on, it can actually produce those stem cells and help heal things for mom while she's pregnant. It's pretty amazing. The reason that we're wanting people to think about doing placenta encapsulation is mostly for the hormonal use. Those hormones, after you give birth, all the hormones that placenta was creating are depleted within about 72 hours after you have the baby. And that's when moms start feeling that downslide of emotion, or what we like to call the baby blues. You might feel a little more weepy or sad. And we take that placenta and we offer several different methods of encapsulation, but we dehydrate it and we turn it into pills so moms can take a few capsules a day just to put a little bit of those hormones back in their system in order to balance, those hormones out gradually so they don't have that depletion, so they can have more energy and a faster recovery.
So, what changes did you see specifically with your last? Or you started doing research with your last, or you did?
Yes, I started doing research with my fast. I did not get to do placenta encapsulation. I didn't have any experience myself using placenta until my first granddaughter was born. And I have actually been using my two grandchildren, which are now 4 and just turned 2, little girls. I have used their placentas in a placenta tincture, which we also make for myself. And I use it for, PMS issues. And with me being a little bit older, I'm hitting that premenopausal stage, and it's great for the hormone balance and energy with that comes with that also. And to know that for a woman giving birth to a daughter, her daughter has the ability, if they store that tincture, to even use her placenta when she hits puberty, and for PMS also.
Wow. That's wild. I never, so it doesn't have to be the mother, it could be anybody that can benefit.
Yes. It can be the grandmother or even the daughter that can use it.
What about one mother to another? Like maybe I don't want to do it, but there's a mom that wants to have.
Well, professionally, it's obviously not going to be recommended because we are in and dealing with a lot of bloodborne pathogens that could be in a placenta. So obviously, we're not going to give it your placenta to someone else to take just for safety reasons. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend that. However, if it's something that you wanted to store, like as for a tincture for your own mother or for your daughter, it could definitely be done.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. And then about how many pills or how much tincture are you getting from one placenta?
Capsules really vary, and it varies on the size of the placenta. Moms that have had multiple children and moms that have bigger babies have bigger placentas, so they get more capsules. On average, a first time mom will see about 120 capsules. And that could go anywhere from 120 up to 200 plus capsules. It really just depends on the size of the placenta.
And then how many, is it one a day or how many can you take or do you
You
take?
can take up to 9 capsules a day. Per protocol through training facilities, we're taught you can take up to 9 a day. I typically only recommend moms taking 1 to 2 capsules twice a day and see how they feel from there. I would rather you slowly increase it to what you need than start off taking more than you need. So I always tell moms, take your first 2 capsules in the morning, see how you feel. If you feel like you need a dose in the middle of the day, then take the third, dose. But if you don't, take 2 more in the evening and fill it out from there. And then you're going to slowly taper yourself off of it so that as your body is starting to regulate and take over again, regulating your hormones.
Yeah. So 9 a day and then you have, like 100, 120. Like so what I guess like how long can you drag it out? Like if you only take a couple a day.
You can actually drag it out. And you can take them for as long as the first year. They're good for a year. In your freezer, we do say leave them out in a cool, dry place for the first 6 weeks, and then it's recommended to store them in your freezer. And you can take them out and take them right from the freezer. Um, But if I mean, most people get down to where they're only needing to take one a day, and from there it could go. I mean, you could take them for weeks. A lot of women like to put them up in the freezer and then keep a few for when their cycles return, because a lot of women that are breastfeeding, and once their cycles return, they find that their milk supply lowers the week before their period starts. So they'll take the capsules then to help increase their milk.
Okay, so it even is good for milk production.
Yes. A lot of women have found that it does increase their milk supply. Yes. And that's probably the second reason that most people look into placenta encapsulation is for that increase in breast milk.
Wow, that's awesome. I feel like I'm learning so much already. So what else? I guess like so once I decide that this is something that I would want to do, how far in advance, I guess, do you have to be notified? And then what does that procedure look like? Do I take the placenta, from hospital, from home birth? Like what would I do with it to get it to you?
We are a certified full service apothecary. So we take care of everything for our clients. You can pretty much schedule placenta encapsulation with us at any time, whether it be first, second, third trimester. We have clients call while they're in labor. We have clients that call after they've given birth. Um, our procedures, as far as booking services, everything is handled online, so it's super simple. If you do book in advance, we do ship you a cooler kit to take with you to the hospital for your birth for storage. If or home birth, you can just pop it right in your fridge. And then we do offer and provide pickup and delivery of all placentas and placenta products.
How soon after the birth, you said some people call afterwards, like how soon do you have to get it, or how long could it stay in the freezer?
If you are birthing, if you call us after you've given birth, the placenta does need to go on ice. Um, Following giving birth, it needs to be on ice. We like to have it on ice within 2 hours. Most women we find that when they're giving birth in the hospital, that the midwives and nurses, most of them know the procedure. So if they tell their nurses they're wanting to keep their placenta, the nurses are going to have the ice available for them to store it on if they don't have a cooler with them. They've been very accommodating here in the hospitals in the upstate in order helping parents with that. So we normally pick up within the first 8 to 12 hours of birth, depending on what time a day you give birth. And from there, we will have everything back to them usually within 3 to 4 days.
And then what is, I guess, the benefits or differences between the capsules and the tincture?
Well, the tincture is for the longevity. Once a tincture is made, and it can be made either with raw placenta or dehydrated placenta, whatever the client prefers, it is good for a lifetime as long as it's stored properly in a cool, dry place, or you can actually pop your tincture in the fridge. Um, they're good forever. And it's simply taking a few drops of the tincture. It can go directly under your tongue, or if you don't like it putting it under your tongue because it is made in alcohol, you can put the drops right into a small amount of juice and take it that way too. And it's great. It gives you sudden. You usually get a good boost of energy in about 20 minutes of taking the tincture, and it just kind of overall settles you, especially in those moments of like stress or hormonal fluctuations. I would say it gives a good overall well-being feeling after taking it.
So is the tincture then more concentrated if you're only doing one drop?
The tincture is more concentrated because you're actually extracting everything from the placenta with alcohol. And the tinctures have to be set up to ferment with the placenta in it for at least 6 weeks. I usually tell my clients to take their tinctures and let them sit until they're ready to be used. So if it sits for 6 or 8 months, the longer the better. And it's going to sit there, and it's a fermentation process that it goes through, and then it's strained. So yes, it is more concentrated. And of course, taking it sublingually under the tongue is the best way for it to be absorbed the quickest.
So if it's taking that long to sit with the placenta, How long does it take for you to obtain the tincture?
It is returned to the clients with their capsules at the 3 to 4 day mark. We put instructions on it on how to easily strain it, which is simply just pouring it right over a coffee filter to remove any placenta that's powder or the raw placenta that was in it. And then you put it right back into your dropper bottle that it comes in with all your instructions on how to use it.
Wow. So you'll get capsules and the tincture?
You can get capsules and the tincture, and that tincture can be stored. Some women get the tincture just so they can put it up to have it, 10, 12 years down the road or longer when they're going through menopause.
And then, so other than the longevity of it, is it still, you said that you get that boost of energy 20 minutes after taking the tincture. Is that still something that you get with the capsule?
The capsules definitely give moms the energy. I think that's one of the greatest things that people find when they're taking them is they do have more energy because we all are fighting and sleep deprived, and to have that good feeling of energy that you can get things done through the day. It's giving you your vitamins, it's giving you minerals back that were in your placenta, and you're getting that hormone balance. So most women find that they overall just feel a lot better during their recovery process, even if they're not looking for the postpartum baby blues or depression part of the placenta encapsulation, because that is the number one reason that most search us out, is because they've had babies and previously, and they've suffered from postpartum, and they're looking for natural ways to hopefully prevent it. But even for those that aren't, it's just a great way for overall healing postpartum. I highly recommend, trying it if it's something that you haven't tried in the past. Recovery time is usually a lot shorter for women that are doing placenta encapsulation.
Well, that's a good like extra added benefit then too. What else do people, I guess, like typically, you said the postpartum depression or anxiety, and then milk production. What else are people typically seeking your services for?
Those are probably the top two things that most people are coming, that's their question when they come to us. They're looking for it for either their postpartum depression or anxiety, their milk production. It does help facilitate bonding because of the oxytocin that's in the placenta. You'll also find that it helps with pain management afterwards. It helps with the uterus shrinking afterwards, and it can actually lessen your bleeding afterwards. So, a lot of women find we make what's called a post birth smoothie, which is a piece of raw placenta in a smoothie that you drink within the first 24 hours of giving birth. Um, and those women actually usually find that it does slow down their bleeding directly after birth.
That's wild. What is that?
Midwives,
What else goes into the smoothie?
whatever you want, really. We pretty much offer pretty much any vegetables. Usually it's spinach or avocado they put in it, any type of fruit. I do like to incorporate a lot of coconut water just for hydration after birth. But it can be mixed with orange juice, any type of milk that you prefer. So I kind of have a whole list of ingredients and let clients pick and choose and build their own smoothie however they would like.
So does the placenta have a taste to it or is it pretty bland? Do you have to like really juice it up?
You don't. And it's a very small piece. It's about the size of a thumb that goes in the smoothie. It is raw, but it doesn't have a taste. It's blended in. You don't know it's there.
Have you ever had a client just eat it raw?
I haven't, but that's been a trick for many years that midwives will take a piece of placenta and put it in the jaw of clients that are hemorrhaging to stop hemorrhaging during, after following their births.
That's wild. So I guess like what about the cord and everything? Is that included or where is it kind of cut off?
It can be included in your capsules. Now, for me, I typically always make a cord keepsake and include it in your package. It's usually a little heart, or I'll spell out love with it, and it comes in a little pretty little thing that you can put in a keepsake box with a poem about the umbilical cord and the attachment. Some women don't want a keepsake, and if they're like, no, adamantly that they don't want it, it can be included in your capsules. So it can be dehydrated and added right into the capsules.
And then, so you said that your one daughter is how you got the tincture.
Correct. I have 5 daughters.
Right. Is that your only daughter that has had a baby so far?
She's had 2. Yes, I have 2 granddaughters. My oldest she's had 2. And she's done encapsulation with both hers. She also did smoothies with her second, and we, made tinctures for her also. But I did, take a little piece for myself so I would have it there, and I use it almost daily.
Awesome. And then, was that just with her second, or she did it with her first as
She
well?
did it with her first as well.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, how many of your clients that have not had it, I guess, before, and then now they're doing it the second or third time, or whatever child this is, like, what kinds of things are they saying they've like seen the difference in the most, or what are they really loving about it?
I think I have one client that probably stands out the most to me. And she and I actually became friends after she was my client, but she was actually pregnant with her 7th child. And it was the only one that she did placenta encapsulation with. And she was like, "My husband just wants to thank you so much." She said, "I would have never thought in a million years the difference that it would have made after having, 6 previous babies to do this with it was her last baby that she's had." And she's like, "I can't believe it." And since then she has a daughter that's now got 2 children, and I've done it for her daughter's babies also. So, yes, if you're someone that has not previously done it with your pregnancies and you move on to do it, those women usually notice the most difference. Yes, most definitely.
What is, I guess, like the real science behind what's going on? Is it just because it's so nutrient packed, and it's what's going on there? I guess that's like really driving that.
Science and research wise, we know most of anything with the placenta is not research based. There's just no huge reason for pharmaceutical companies to research placenta encapsulation. They're never going to be able to facilitate it or make money off of it, unfortunately. So a lot of what all we have is what other moms are saying and the experiences and them sharing their experiences. Um, there's really very little research. We've done, back in 2018, there was research that was done stating that it was actually safe for moms to consume it, and they didn't have to worry about any type of health concerns being passed on to their babies. And that was an actual study that was done in Nevada, at the University of Nevada, and the University of Ohio. State University actually did that, and it was with 23,000 moms. It was the largest that had ever been done, just to prove that it is safe.
That is a large group of moms.
It is a very large group. That was probably the biggest study we've had. There's been several studies coming out of Germany, but still not a whole lot of real found research being done, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the more, we kind of dive deep into what's going on postpartum and how moms are feeling and really taking everything into consideration, those are going to be huge things that are being driven and researched and looked at. Because what I've found just, from talking to other moms and diving into all this is there's so much going on that's more than we know. And it is kind of like, we're getting past that point of, oh, well, that's just like what happens, or that's just how it goes for new moms, like you're just going to feel that way, and things like that. And I think, there's such that push for, well, do we have to feel this way? Like, is there something more that we can do? And I think a lot of people are being more proactive about it than in the past than we've seen. And I think it's kind of like, look, if this might help me, I'm going to do this. And I think the more we know, the better we know. So, like I said, I never even knew what the placenta was beforehand. I had an anterior placenta, and but I was kind of like, Again, like I wasn't even, I didn't even know about anything. And I think it wasn't even until um I was already postpartum and everything, like maybe a couple months, or maybe it was like soon before birth or so, but I had no idea that this was even something that could be done. So I think, just informing people and letting them know like that there's different possibilities out there, and that there's things being done to help. I think that's huge.
And that's, that's our whole goal. Our whole goal, and it still is and always has been in the past 5 years, is just offering families natural ways to support their postpartum. And, if it helps you, a great deal, or if it only helps those few little things that you needed it for, we're there. We want that. We want you to find more natural ways to support yourself. It's definitely worth most people trying and seeing.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. I guess, what is your favorite part of what you do? What do you love most about it?
When I first started this and I went to my first training, which was a live training, I was seriously talking myself like, oh my gosh, am I really going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to like touch this placenta and like, do this to this? This is like, kind of crazy. And now I just think it's absolutely amazing. Every placenta I see, they're all unique. There's no one that's the same. They're, to me, I know most people probably think I'm crazy, but I just think they're absolutely beautiful. And I love when clients order art pieces and we're able to, make placenta prints for them, because it's amazing. To me, it's just absolutely amazing that this one thing has created and nurtured so much life for its period of time. And then it can go on, to continue nurturing mom afterwards. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I think right now I probably have the best job in the world.
That's awesome. That's so much more meaningful too. Like when you have somebody that's so passionate about it, and, putting that love into making it too. You're not just kind of like taking their placenta
No.
and chopping it up or whatever goes on. You know what I mean? Like you're actually like enjoying it,
Yeah.
and really taking that time to really, you're acknowledging it, and you're seeing how beautiful it is. And I think just like putting that extra energy and heart into it probably puts some extra added love into the capsules and tinctures as well. So
We like to think so. We definitely like to think so.
I don't know if there's anything else, like that you typically like. What are common questions that moms are coming with, or what do you kind of typically explain? Like if somebody said, "What do you do?"
The first thing I usually do is laugh when I'm asked, "What do you do for a living?" Definitely, because I get these strangest faces when I tell people what I do for a living. Um, but my biggest like questions from mom is usually, how many capsules, are my doctors like gonna be like crazy and not let me leave the hospital with it? And thankfully we don't have that issue here in the upstate anymore. I can say that that has definitely changed, and I have gotten the support from so many of the doctors, and I work with the Greenville midwives, and they support parents choices, and it's been absolutely amazing to see all that change in the last few years.
That's awesome. And then, what if obviously you're in the Greenville area, but what if somebody's not and they're listening? How do they even go about finding somebody that does what you do?
We there's networks. If you are not in the Greenville area, which we service pretty much all of South Carolina, North Carolina, and parts of Georgia. Um, so we travel, you know, in order to pick up placentas and do them. But we are always happy. I'm always happy to search out someone that's in another state and search out a placenta encapsulator for them that's local to them, and help them find somebody that can actually help with their services.
Awesome. Okay. And then, how can we reach you specifically? Do you want to, let us know where you're at on social media, and your website and everything, so that we can find you?
We are on Facebook and Instagram, both under Carolina Placenta Remedies. And our website is carolinaplacentaRemedies.org. And pretty much it's a few click of the buttons and I am right there able to answer questions live on our website, and we set up consultations and have consultations with clients throughout the day. So it's very simple if anybody has questions to give us a quick call and we can, get everything set up for them.
What's I guess like an interesting fun fact about placentas that most people might not know?
I think the most, well, not the most interesting, but the most thing is, I don't think most people ever even see their placenta. I think it's what I'm most astonished about. And I get a lot of requests for pictures because they never even saw it. And, I think their clients are usually quite amazed that it's not some horrible, scary thing that they imagine, I think. So I get a lot of requests for pictures of their placenta because if you haven't seen yours, I mean, definitely if you're going to have a baby, ask to see it. It's really cool. I mean, the doctors are great about like showing it to you and how it works and showing you how the baby was in it. And it's, take advantage of it.
That's awesome. And then, so do you have do you take pictures or do you have a photographer that you're kind of paired up with
I
that will take
actually, if,
pictures?
if they're wanting just pictures of their placenta, I have on my form, you can actually request pictures. And I actually just take pictures myself as I'm processing your placenta. And they're just digital pictures. And I usually just send them right over to them if they want it. But I do give people the option because a lot of times I swoop in and I'm picking them up and, they were put away and stored and they never got to see it. And, we also make prints, which are canvas prints that you can have made from your placenta also.
Do you get to pick, I guess, like all the colors or stuff? Or what does that look? Is it like a black and white print?
Well, and the canvases can be done in what we call a natural print, for people that may have allergies or not want any type of, because it is food-based coloring, so that it's safe for the placenta for you to consume it. So we can do natural prints, which is just done from the actual blood of the placenta and printed on canvas, or you can pick colors, whatever colors you like, and we can do them with, you know, gel food colorings, and we can make pretty colored prints for you too.
Awesome. Well, this was so fun and I learned so much and it definitely like gets the wheels turning of different things that you can do and just informing people about different possibilities that are out there and how to be proactive or, how to help if you've had a baby already and you've had these things occur, like this could be an option of something that's going to definitely benefit you, healing, feeling better emotionally, balancing all your hormones. So amazing, amazing things.
Yeah, and thank you for having us here. That's one of our and greatest thing is trying just to get information and education out to the families so they do know that it's available because a lot of people still have never even heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is it's crazy all these things evolve, I guess. And like just I feel like I was very kind of interested and having a pool of seeing all the different options and getting out there and finding out all these cool things. But there's definitely going to be those moms that just haven't heard of it still. So hopefully this kind of helps inform them a lot and maybe it will be an option for them in the future.
Yeah, we hope so.
Well, this wraps up yet another episode of Entering Motherhood. I hope that you have found this episode helpful, and if you liked it, please share it with others who might also benefit from this information. If there's anything that you'd like to know more about, or maybe you know someone who'd like to be on the show, please visit my website, enteringmotherhood.com. I'm so thrilled to be going on this journey with you and getting the amazing opportunity to help moms during this postpartum experience. You can also now find us on Instagram and Facebook at Entering Motherhood.